Hello, Excellence family. It's Danny Barnes, Director of Agent Relations. I'm here with Paul Sardone. He is the attorney for Excellence Title. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hey everybody. Hey
This is our
Danny, thanks
first.
for having me.
Thank you. This is our first Title Tuesday. Very excited, and
Yeah,
going to turn it over to Paul because he's going to talk a little bit about remote closings for us, and especially how important they are in this time that everybody's going through. So thanks for joining us this morning, and I'll turn it over to you at this time.
thanks Danny. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the remote closings because it's relevant for two reasons. I know the Excellence family extends across the state. There's even some closings I've gotten calls. I'm helping somebody now with a quitclaim deed out of state for a Florida property. So there are questions about the closing, the actual day of the closing. And these are questions that are rising daily now with COVID. You do have people, especially now we're going through another, it seems like another rise in cases, people that are nervous about going to an office, whether they're local or somewhere else, and doing the signing. Well, since it first started in January, I've been approved with the state to do the RON, the remote online notary closings. I'm licensed for that. We have the platforms and the technology to be able to do it. The issue that we're seeing is when your buyers have a mortgage, the lenders are not really, most of them are not set up for it or not wanting to do the remote online notary because they still need some documents wet signed, the note, the mortgage. they're not processing it electronically yet. So we've had, I've done closings this year, in people's driveways with tables outside and gloves and masks because they don't want to go anywhere. We've done drive-by closings. We've done closings in the office where I'm in another room and they're asking questions, and it just depends on your client's comfort level. But one of the things that they're doing now, which a lot of people don't know about, is Fannie and Freddie approved. It's kind of a hybrid on the online notarization, so it doesn't require like a DocuSign type of thing where the people are on the platform signing. We actually send them the physical documents, and then they're teamed up with a remote online notary who watches them sign, wet sign, does the online notarization, watches them ship the documents back to us and certifies it, and then can notarize the originals when they come back and get it over to a lender. And that seems like a minor thing, but it is a big deal because closings that are taking place with mortgages, it is an issue. I have a refinance closing today, and I just got off the phone with the borrower, and his wife is nervous. She hasn't left the house in the last few weeks because of COVID, and she's immunocompromised, and so we're trying to figure that whole thing out. And I presented this option. It would be the first one that we're doing this way, but I think it's a good thing, and it's for us. We're based out of South Florida, but I handle closings throughout the state. I do have notaries that can go if you want a physical closing at your offices over there, somebody's house, at a Starbucks, or at their office, wherever they need to do it, anywhere, we can get a closer there. But this is another option just to make sure, make it convenient for your clients.
And we're lucky to have you and being able to do remote closings. I mean, I know a lot of title companies here where I am, they're doing them too, and they traditionally didn't do them, but they're not allowing people in their office. So
right.
Like you mentioned, you can close a deal anywhere in the state. You are a licensed attorney, which gives, realtors, buyers, sellers peace of mind. So that's very important. And, it's all about technology these days. Yeah. It's not the 90s anymore. You don't have to go to a physical office.
Yeah, and if you do, when they come to our office, we have, all the procedures in place, the sanitizer, everything's wiped down before the closing. The clients feel comfortable. We wear the mask. We have a pretty big space and conference room, so we're not, in a tiny room all together. So we are, cognizant of that. And, the other thing is for the agents watching this who maybe don't have buyers but have sellers, that a lot of sellers don't want to leave their house. They're signing, they might not live here, and they don't want to go sign with a notary, whatever state they're in or even whatever country they're in. I as an attorney can handle the seller docs, and we can get that signed remotely too. And the big nowadays with these kind of meetings like we're doing now, the phones, obviously texting, emails, people are getting the legal advice that they need. They don't need to physically come in and sit with me like we did maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where somebody
Right.
signing a contract and they want to bring it to me in person, sit down and go over it. Now it's pretty commonplace. But the main thing for us is to focus on the service for your clients and them feeling that level of comfort that an attorney has reviewed the documents. I do take the time and explain, if there's any questions, I'll go over loan documents, affidavits, whatever they're signing. 'Cause I've always done that, and I need to make sure everybody understands, what they're signing. It's not just sign here, just because it's online. You still get that level of service.
And plus, our fees are low. They're not as much as your typical. If you're going to close an attorney's office and pay a lot of money to do that, you're going to be there to help them too. So
yeah, with the title compared to if it's hourly rates of an attorney, I mean,
right.
the time that we put in versus what but it's what we do. It's what we love doing, and we're happy to do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of you might want to add about remote closings?
No, I mean, it's just the main thing that people think that it's kind of like I FaceTime you and notarize your documents. It's not that simple. So if you do have a closing that you want us to handle that way, we need to know ahead of time, because there's a third-party platform that authenticates documents, and the client does have to have access to a very, very minimum an iPad or something with a webcam, and they do have to set up. There is a little bit of setup on their part and verification. So the client, another thing is they're foreign, they can't do it. They have to have a social here, and they do verify the identification before they turn it over to us as the online notary. They do verify, so they'll hold up an ID and it scans it and it verifies with a passport or license. So it does verify that. And there are a series of security questions similar to when you pull your credit report and it asks you things that, personal questions like which street did you live on? There's a multiple choice. It's that type of verification. They need to pass that before it's turned over. So sometimes we like to do a test run, maybe, a few hours or a day before, to make sure that people are verified on the site before we go to do it. Because, we wouldn't want to have a closing and the day of the closing, we find out they can't answer their security questions, or they're not, for whatever reason, they can't get verified on there. So that's just a minor step that just to keep things smooth. Just let us know ahead of time if your borrowers or your sellers are considering that or prefer that option, and we'll make sure to get them instructions and everything ahead of time.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, just want to welcome you to the Xcellence family, and we have a lot of new agents that are joining. So wanted to introduce you, and thanks for doing Title Tuesday today. A lot of great information, and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, Paul. It's good seeing you.
Take care.